Let's talk about this photo. This photo was taken in July 4th, 2026 by a Reuters photographer that captured a moment of a black woman surrounded by the Patriot Front in the DC metro. Now, although this photo is important, and I'll explain why, the day it was taking plays a major role as well. You know July 4th as the 4th of July, the day America gained its independence from Great Britain. What you didn't know is that in July 4th, 1827 was the day that black people in New York were no longer slaves. And if you're confused, you have to remember that in the 1800s, there were slave states and free states. And on July 4th, 1827, New York became a free state. And this was essentially supposed to be a day to celebrate, a day that America gained their independence and a day that black New Yorkers gained their freedom. This was a time where nearly 90% of the black population was enslaved. So how can black people celebrate a day of independence if they're enslaved? But black people celebrating the emancipation of black people in New York is not celebrating July 4th, it's celebrating July 5th. Because black people understood celebrating this day on July 4th was going to bring hate in a community that already has hate towards black people. So they decided to celebrate July 4th on July 5th, which is why this photo is so important, because this photo actually depicts how black people live in America, that being black in America is not safe, and in a system that hates black people, you're always going to be surrounded by hatred. This photo also shows that she is a free black woman. How free is she really? Anyways, happy Disability Pride Month and happy July 5th.
Now, I made a post about this yesterday on IG, but I didn't get a chance to bring it over here. But this post was taken yesterday. This picture was taken yesterday in the Metro DC subway, where far-right white national extremists boarded the subway, and this one black woman was sitting in a sea of white racist men with their faces covered. And to the other side, we have a black man in Jim Crow era riding a bus with all white passengers, for all white passengers only. This is what Make America Great Again looks like. And this is how they plan on getting it there. One thing I'm going to ask y'all to urge the people running in Congress for your vote for midterms is for them to push laws against white nationalism, against racism, against the KKK, specifically for black people. We have an Asian hate bill. We don't have a black bill to protect us. A black woman, she doesn't look scared, but she does look uncomfortable. And that is the point of these people, to make us feel comfortable in a place that our ancestors built. I'm gonna say this, if 3x5 cards feel like their race is dying out and they're losing control, it's all in your head. Maybe if men would get off women's backs about their bodies, maybe y'all could procreate. That ain't got shit to do with us.
America is not systemically racist. Also, we're the least racist country ever to exist in the history of the world.
In much of the Democratic Party, it's now fashionable to say that America is racist. That is a lie.
Let me say it one more time. America is not a racist country.
So 250 years of freedom for who? That's the question. Yeah, say you're happy 4th of July, but stop lying and saying 250 years of freedom for everyone. Because this is what 250 years in America actually looks like. This is a great depiction of what 250 years in America actually looks like. 250 years of freedom for who? Slavery ended 160 years ago. Jim Crow segregation ended 60 years ago. Women also just received women's rights not too long ago as well. LGBTQ, what they're actually celebrating is 250 years of violence, because what is being demonstrated right now is that in 250 years, the frontal lobe of these people have never developed. Violence has trickled down to their children's and their children's children. It's 250 years of hatred that has survived. I guess they upgraded from putting the pillowcases on their heads to the socks on their heads, because it is a bunch of white men with socks on their head marching around for their racism. Solely because they're white men. That's it. It's been 250 years of a group of people beating, brutalizing, assaulting, and hurting other groups of people. That's it.
We cannot have a split screen where on one side you have Christian fascists, thugs, patriots marching the streets of DC, talking about purging this country of immigrant blood and reclaiming the nation in the streets, while in the halls of power they create law and policy that is no different. We can't have that celebration on the one side and the decent people sitting at home watching fireworks doing nothing. We need a people that's acting with courage and conviction and all of humanity in our hearts and saying enough. We will not allow that cruel and brutal future.
Guys, this image will go down on history. The image of a black woman was on the metro together with the white nationalist. She was sitting there calmly, but deep down, the woman was literally scared of her life. And each and every American citizen needs to see this. The whole world needs to see this because the history is repeating itself. As if that's not enough. There is also another black man who was on a metro. It's only that his image is not going viral, but I found it and I'm about to roll for you the clip as well. And I hope these two black people are safe wherever they are, because personally, if I put myself in that situation, I could have had a panic attack. I could have peed my pants because I don't know what I could have done that time if I find myself in such kind of situation. But this teaches us a lot of things, and also there are a lot of symbolism when the people went together at the DC to celebrate the 250th birthday of the United States, because the heat wave was so much to a point that they went to seek for shelter at the African American Museum. Tell me how ironical that was, and tell me if it's not symbolic. So let me roll for you the clips, guys, and let me know what you think about this in the comment section. Kindly give the video a thumbs up and let's watch this together.
I have another image every American needs to see today. This was taken by Finn Gomez and Getty Images. A black man on the DC Metro is surrounded by white nationalists covering their faces in masks, cowards, refusing to show who they actually are to the public as they chant, "Reclaim America." White nationalists today marched on Washington, hundreds of them. And we see images like this coming out of Washington, D.C. today. As Americans celebrate the 250th anniversary of our nation, we are seeing images like this coming out of Washington, D.C. Masked white nationalists surrounding black Americans, simply as they're riding the metro. These images invoke some of the worst parts of America's history. And it's images like these that many refuse to even acknowledge exist. Many on the right today have just completely ignored it. And when they talked about it, they claimed they're federal agents. Make sure every American sees this today. Spread the word and follow along to stay up to date on all the news you need to know about. There'll be more to come soon.
Y'all, these people had to take shelter in the African American History Museum. What? Last night, of course, was July 4th. And Chunky Milk decided to do his biggest, longest speech ever from what he said at the National Mall. Now, because of the weather, the lightning, the hail, the rain, the wind, the tornadoes, the hurricanes, they had to kick people out for safety. So they kick everybody out for safety. And where did all of MAGA have to go to? Y'all support the man who said the African American History Museum should not exist. Y'all support the man who feel that anything that has to do with anybody who's African American is DEI. And when you were in danger, you had to take shelter in the museum that you say should not exist? Oh, you can't make this up. You cannot make this up. You can't make this up. Y'all literally will spend your time ragging on black people just for existing. Y'all will make black people seem like they are the worst people in existence just because they're breathing and figuring out a way to live life as you continue to try to oppress us. And then when something happens and the person you support kicked you out, didn't leave you food, shelter, water, air conditioning, or anything, where'd you end up at? The African American History Museum. Crazy. Mm. How's it taste? Best like a greasy nickel. Y'all had to come and take shelter in your cheap plastic shoes while the man that you idolized kicked you out and didn't even leave you water. Crazy. This is America. America. So hurry now. America.
This country has not changed and most likely will never change, bro, unless all the structures holding everything up are completely abolished and dismantled. A black woman on a train in Washington, D.C. surrounded by a whole bunch of hoe-ass white supremacists. Very unsettling to see in 2026, but not surprising, you know what I'm saying? Especially whenever you consider the fact it's like America's 250th birthday. And that's why I've always kind of like rolled my eyes when people say that things for black people are a lot better now, you know? So we should stop complaining because like, even when I was younger, I was like, Trayvon Martin got his life taken by a fucking civilian and no justice was had. Police can take the life of any and every black person if they feel like it and not face any consequences. So how are things that much better? We're not in slavery. You know, I feel like that should be like a fucking baseline for a modern day society. We shouldn't have slavery, but we still do have slavery though. That's the thing. You go to prison, you're pretty much a slave. You give your rights away. And the majority of white folks don't really see there's like a big issue that black folks have modern day because we're not getting whipped. We're not being forced to work in fields, so everything must be okay. You know what I'm saying? But like, they don't see the things that are happening modern day as like overly violent and just as violent as what was happening back in the day. And there's also a lot of black folks that are just complacent and okay with the conditions right now because they either feel like that if they work hard enough, they'll be in whitey's position one day, or they just feel like their life is so inconsequential and like they can't really make an impact. But if enough of us get up, if enough of us speak up, we can make a big difference. We've seen this shit before in the past. You know what I'm saying? Why the fuck would it be any different now?
A second photo has been captured that will define the Donald Trump era as his presidency has been summed up during a very bad week. Now, if you missed it yesterday, a group is in Washington, D.C. spewing their nonsense, and you probably saw an image of them on a bus with a young girl. Well, a second image was captured. Take a look at this. This is another one for the history books. This photo was taken by Finn Gomez, and this will sum up the Trump era nicely. But this has been the theme of the entire week. Donald Trump's presidency has been summed up in photos, whether it's the reflecting pool and the floating debris, or the algae, or the storms during his speech and having to cancel it. These photos on the bus. We've seen what's happening in Iran and how they're closing the Strait of Hormuz despite him saying it's being open. His week has absolutely been rough, and it is an absolute perfect image and metaphor for what his presidency has been like. He talks like everything is a rousing success, that the country is unified, that everything is better, while everything is actually falling apart.
So there's no lying where we are today, no gaslighting. We are in the triple K part of America again, thanks to Donald Trump, his supporters, Christian white nationalists. 400 of these small DICK'd men, masked, carrying guns, showed up at Washington, D.C. to freely, using their freedom of speech, to freely march all over Washington, D.C., making a very strong political statement, and they were not stopped. As a matter of fact, all their videos were promoted all over by MAGA. But Donald Trump also created other organizations to oversee, well, first to funnel money, and then to oversee celebrations across the country. He wanted everyone to celebrate Donald Trump for the 250th birthday, not America. And so one of his organizations oversaw a sailboat parade off the New York harbor. And one of the sailboats had Save the Clean Water Act banner, Indigenous Rights, Racial Justice, Climate Solution banner, all tied together. If you have half a brain, you understand it's all tied together. And Trump's administration had the Coast Guard remove that sailboat for making a political statement. But these sick mothers were not stopped whatsoever. They got to exercise their free speech, but not the sailboat that was in a parade hosted by Donald Trump and Donald Trump's organizations, in which our tax dollars were used to send the Coast Guard to pull that sailboat out of the parade line. So when I say that I'm going to fight like hell during Democratic primaries to pick Democratic candidates that are going to get money out of politics and work for you and me, but then only vote for every single Democrat in the midterm elections when primaries are over, this is why. This is why. Every single Democrat. We need to oust every single Republican.
This picture right here will go down in history. The picture of a black woman who was on a metro in Washington, D.C., a metro bordered by the white nationalists. Her face, she was looking so scared. Yes, some people are saying that she was courageous enough to continue sitting on that metro. But you know what? Maybe she was just having her normal daily life and she didn't expect that on her normal daily life routine. So maybe when these people got inside, she couldn't get out, because even if it were you, you know very well that you will panic, you will even get confused. And as if that's enough, there is also another picture of a black man I posted for you here. He was also on a metro in Washington, D.C. And to whoever was capturing those pictures, we really salute you, because the pictures are going to go down on history and they are currently going viral to a point that some of the white folks are even shocked about them, and people are reacting differently to it because it was so unexpected. I'm so glad that the pictures were taken, at least to show Americans that there is something that is going on and the history is repeating itself. You remember how many times this scenario has happened, but now it happened when America was celebrating its 250th birthday. And I knew that the celebration was going to be good. A lot of people expected that the celebration was going to be good, but everything was upside down. So let's start when people went together at the DC. The heat wave was so much to a point that they went and seek for shelter at the African American Museum. So ironical. I know some people doesn't know about it, but it was so ironical, because tell me why, out of all the places, they only chose the African American Museum, and yet all the time they don't always go there. All the time, some of them always want to vandalize it until the heat wave made them to go to the African American Museum to seek for shelter. And now, over 400 white nationalists were marching on the streets in Washington, D.C., carrying their flags and masks on. These people, I know some of them are doctors, some of them are teachers, some of them are engineers. That is why they are putting the mask on, so that they couldn't be seen by their employers, they couldn't be seen by their clients. Then on Monday, you'll find them going back to work as usual. Yes, they were chanting some words, but is America great again? Whatever they were chanting true? And does it reveal how America is right now? Because, well, some people are saying that America is great, America is thriving so well, but personally, I think no, because of all the things that has been ongoing. I know that freedom will one day come, but it's not yet there. There is no one who is free in the United States. The sense of security is so alarming. People are scared. Tell me, is the black woman safe wherever she is? Is she safe? I'm talking about the black woman who was on the metro. And what about that black man? Are they literally safe? Because that is my worry since I saw that picture. I just wanna know whether they are safe. Because if I know they are safe, I'll feel relieved. I don't know why this thing is honestly disturbing me, but I just want to know. I just want somebody to come out and assure me that they are safe because from her face, she was literally scared. I'm trying to imagine if it was me. I don't know. I could have even peed my pant. I could I could have even have a panic attack because I know myself so well. That was not it. A group of white nationalists, you are on the metro alone, and they are there chanting their words as if they own the world. You don't know where you can head to. You don't know whether to get out of the metro or you don't know whether to continue staying there. And something is also telling you that if you get out of the metro, maybe something bad might happen to you. Maybe these people might use you as an example. Who knows? And yes, people can say that she was calm. No, she was scared. Her face, she was literally scared. And I hope the person who is writing history will put it down on history. Let it go down on history and let the learners know that something like that happened when America was celebrating its 250th birthday. So, guys, let me know what you think about this because people are reacting to it differently following everything that the Black Americans have been through. I really appreciate your massive love and support each and every single day. Kindly give the video a thumbs up, subscribe if you're coming across the channel for the very first time, and until next time, peace and love.